Those are the kind of things that we can all benefit from getting some outside blood, because we kind of keep talking to each other, and if we venture outside our borders, whether it be our South Florida borders or our national borders, that you'll see that there's a big world out there, and we need to understand it so we can take advantage of it. So again, any questions or comments, I promise I won't be insulted or offended by anything you say, but this is an opportunity to ask them.
Peter?
Carlos, moving forward, how do you see a collaborative effort between MIASF and the Marina Mile Association?
Well, we have a lot of the same members. We have an opportunity to provide get information out. The Marina Mile is the backbone of the American marine industry. This is it. This is the spine right here. And once we recognize, everybody recognizes it, that this is where really the hub is, whether it's on the water or the subcontractors that are very close to it. And we understand what the issues are, we can all work together to address those issues better, whether it be working on regulatory matters, or working on bringing more business here, or dredging, or any other issue that's going to make our business better. We need to be working together on that. It needs to be my problem. I don't know what the biggest problems that face the Marina Mile are, and if I don't know what they are, I can't help to solve them. And the same thing applies to the thousands, really 180,000 Florida residents that make their primary living from the marine industry.
Herb?
Last year, right after you got appointed, you were here, and I represent the Fort Lauderdale Marine Industries Association, or Marine Advisory Board. And you had specific things. Number one was get people out on the water, promote our activities to get people out on the water. And I know for one of our people, try to contact you, runs a boat rental place in 3 different locations. Pier 66, EMR, Pompano. We tried unsuccessfully to reach you to implement that program.
Get his card, he'll answer the phone.
Yeah, I mean that's
Secondly,
yeah, that's true.
one of the specific things you talked about were helping our marinas. And I'm curious what specific programs were implemented in the year that you've been in office in terms of helping promote our marinas.
Well, you're exactly right. Those are all issues, still very important issues that face, and I'm very disappointed in how much we've been able to accomplish. And a lot of times I felt like I was one person fighting unbelievable forces, and that I could not get the cooperation that I needed behind me to try to get some of these things done. And unfortunately, what seemed like more drastic issues came to fruition. The campaign to increase, to help the marinas and to improve boating, I got a very, very cold reception from some of the major players involved in that. Some of the ownership of some of those marinas. There's a lot of denial as to what the issues are that face our association, and I'm not pleased at all with the progress that we've made in that area, and I'm asking everybody to help us work together. But that one volunteer can't do it alone, unfortunately.
Correct. There's 2 of us. There.
It's David Reed. 2 things. The boat show, if I would think of the Marine Industry Association, the boat show would probably be the most important thing going forward. How was the negotiations with that?
There really aren't any negotiations with that. We have 0 control over that boat show. We gave up control over the boat show until 2018, so there's nothing to talk about. Our attempts to try to get some influence or leverage into those discussions is 0. So we cannot improve the show. The association can't improve the show. Just like I can't.
Is the rebuilding going to happen, or do you have any insight on that?
It'll be up to the city whether or not they want to encourage the rebuilding. I can't speak for what the city is going to do. Whether it makes sense for the city but I can tell you that the rebuilding will not be a benefit to the show. Won't make the show any better. In fact, it could make it worse.
And then one last thing, dockage. You said 10% of the boats that make it to the Caribbean don't make it up here. I would think dockage is probably a big issue on why those boats don't make it up here. Is there any?
No, not at all, actually. Think about it. Dockage is nothing but a parking lot.
Right.
And if you built the parking lot in the middle of the Everglades, who would go to it? The only reason that parking lots are busy is because what's next to the parking lot. And in the past, the reason that this parking lot was full was because of our great service people and the ability to serve these yachts. As the boats have gotten bigger, if they can't get to the parking lot, there's no reason for them to come. There's been a lot of reasons why the boats have less.
So you're saying
boats
less of
came.
a parking lot. Is that because we need dredging, or is that because we need a place for them to go stir?
We need people that are qualified to work on 200-foot-plus yachts. We don't have enough of them, and it's not that we're not good enough. It's I call it like you could be the greatest Ford mechanic in the world. A Ferrari pulls up, you won't even know how to open the hood. It's going to take you a while to get used to it, and too many of our technicians just haven't had enough exposure to these new yachts, and somehow we got to get that knowledge to them. We met with the trade school a couple of days ago, and there's been a lot of talk about creating marine trades schools and training programs at Broward Community College and all that. The truth of the matter is, who's going to teach those classes?
And they treat them to people at entry-level jobs.
Right. Who's gonna teach those classes? If you really have a great person with a lot of knowledge to teach, he's working. He's not teaching. And so these are the kinds of issues, but without having that person to attract the boat to come here in the first place, what that boat is saying, I'm just gonna go back to the Mediterranean and get the work done. And that's what I saw in the Mediterranean, was incredible investment in the service facilities in the Mediterranean. And the Italians have realized that they're really Maine and Maine. They're at the center of the boating universe. On one side you have the U.S. On the other side you have Russia and China, and the Mediterranean is right smack in the middle. So they built incredible service facilities in Italy. The advantage is they're Italian. So they're not the greatest service people. They don't have the greatest service repair culture or reputation. So we can compete with them. But we got to realize that we're on the far end of the geographic spectrum.
One more question, and then you all, yes.
The work in the Mediterranean, you mentioned specific companies were making these investments. Were there government investments as well, or is it really just private industry?
Yeah, there's two parts to that. One is the facilities were built in the war effort. The German war machine came and built and financed a lot of the infrastructure that you see there. That facility has gone through a variety of changes over the 50 years, but it was already dredged. It's already there. They don't have to go through what we have to go through here to try to get a permit. It's already there. And then the Italians finally said, okay, let's provide a good deal to these existing facilities for more marine industry type of stuff. So although it's not directly subsidized necessarily, it's huge advantages over what the business climate that we have here in the U.S.
Any of the current stuff invested by the governments?
I don't know of any direct investment, but they all have some sort of indirect subsidy of the. I don't know of any facility that was paid with new dollars from the government.
Make sure you stay around and ask them some questions.
Yeah, I'll be here
after.
till after if you have any more questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Carlos. That's terrific.